Morning. This morning, being the 1st of January 2026, I'm going to be doing a blood test. And that involves using a lancet and a Guthrie card. So, this will give you an idea. This is a Guthrie card, and these circles are where I have to soak my blood onto. This is to test my blood for phenylalanine, or Phe for short, and for tyrosine. And it involves using this lancet, my thumb, and the Guthrie heel prick, well, the Guthrie card, which is used also for the heel prick test on babies when they're born. So the first thing I have to do is get my hands ready, so I've got to bring the blood to them. Now I use the thumb mainly because it has a bit more blood going through it. I try to find a spot that's not going to, I don't know if you can see that. This is, I'm just using these two to keep it from, because you need practically 2 hands to do it. So the lancet, this little yellow thing that's usually used for diabetes. I find that the little needle there is just not big enough to create a big enough hole, so you have to be really warmed up. So now I am going to prick my thumb, and hopefully I'll get a good enough. For those who are squeamish, look away. So I am going to find a good spot, and simple as that. So got a nice thing of blood coming through. Sometimes you have to squeeze it, and then you just fill the circles as much as you can. So I have been doing this when I was younger, a lot younger. My mum was actually doing this. I'm going to try and get some more blood through there. And lancets were different then. They looked like razor blades with a pointy end. And they were a lot harder. So now that I've done that, I'm going to normally you're supposed to use cotton balls or cotton, something like that. So now, this is the phase. This is soaked blood from this side, so it's soaked on both sides. And that needs to dry, so I will do that. It needs to dry, I'll take it somewhere else. And we put this in the Sharpie bin that I have, the Sharpie container. Now that I've done that, the next step is to have my sphere liquid, which is a formula that gives me all the minerals and vitamins and trace elements, as well as equivalent to 20 grams of natural protein. Well, it's actually protein without the Phe or found lanolin. I have a tab timer, which can be very annoying when it starts off because it goes on for about 5 minutes. Unless I get to it beforehand, so I've got to get this out. So, the 1st of January, it scrolls through next dose, 100 p.m, 1st of January. So, now I'm taking escitalopram, which is anti-anxiety tablets, and some vitamin D because my specialist, when I had some bloods done, noticed that my vitamin D was a bit low. And that can happen especially if you're not having dairy or anything like cheese and that sort of thing, because this diet involves a low protein diet, no meat of any kind, and no dairy, although I can have 20 grams of natural protein. So I usually do it all together, but now so give this a shake. The thing I like to do is I have a metal straw. I do not like the paper straws that they have. They're horrible because they dissolve and I don't like the taste. You get 4 of these in the packet, and it comes with a little brush that you can go inside and clean it, and they last forever, and they're so much better than having. So if anybody's thinking of getting these, you can get them from Coles. I think that's where I got them from. So I'll give them a shake. I've put a date on it and the time as well, because I have a tendency to not remember to take my. So it's sealed with the foil. So you got to undo that. Now it's quite foamy inside. It's chocolate flavour. Someone actually said it smelled like caramel. So I'm going to take my formula now. So much better than the ones I had when I was a kid. The formula that I had was called Sinogram, and it was foul. It was horrible. So that was a powder, and the only way I could drink it, if you can say drink it, I had to mix it in with hot water, and I had to make sure there wasn't any lumps in it, otherwise I would gag. And I had a special cup, and if I can demonstrate with my pineapple cup, I had a special cup and I had it in there and mixed up and everything, and I would go like this. And I had to do that 3 times a day, until I was 12 years old and I was taken off the diet. That seems to be the unwise decision that doctors made back in the 70s. Now they're trying to catch up with the PKUs that were in that era and try to get them back on diet. The only trouble is, when I was growing up, I was off diet. I had all sorts of problems. I had panic attacks. I had dizziness. I had fatigue. I was feeling very, very tired. I would start off with a good mood, and then the end of the day, I was in a foul mood. Mood swings all over the place. And as I got older, I wasn't even knowing what it was, but I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I should have realised, but when you're growing up and you got no follow-up from the doctors in the Royal Children's Hospital, that was their biggest mistake, was doing that with the PKU patients. But, they were still learning, and there's no cure for PKU, so I couldn't understand why they decided to do that. They reckoned to me it was because my brain had developed properly or something to that effect. Now, the brain isn't fully developed until the age of 26, because, you look at some of the drivers, the young drivers, the males particularly, that do stupid things because they're young and they're stupid. I went through that stage myself, but not with driving, but with getting involved with the wrong people. And after losing my third, maybe fourth job because of my volcanic temper, and it was volcanic, hello Emma, I decided I needed to go back on a diet. So I'm searching. I've been searching ever since the internet came on board. I was searching and trying to find out anything about PKU or how I can get some help. And, well, there wasn't anything that I could see. There wasn't any contacts or anything that I could find. In 2012, around about July, August, something like that, or July actually, I discovered that there was a MDDA, which is Metabolic Dietary Disorders Association. Oh, Emma, she's putting her claws in me. So I went there, it was in Croydon, and I started talking to Jenny Bryant, who works there. She's, I think either she's had it or she's a parent of kids that have it. And started talking to her about my experience and everything, and it was such a relief because she knew what I was talking about. See, when I went to the GPs and I was talking about having PKU and they're saying, what's that? I had to explain to them every time. And because they're GPs, they don't get taught this. And I think it should be on the curriculum because that involves every part of your life. When you're eating, when you're working, and you're doing normal everyday stuff. So that explained a lot of the anxiety attacks, the feeling of fatigue, the mood swings, everything. It was such a relief to be able to talk to someone that understood and knew what I was talking about and didn't have to be explained to. And she put me on to a clinic. It was an adult clinic. They didn't have any adult clinics in the Royal Children's Hospital. When I talked to them earlier and they said, oh, we don't do adults, I said, well, excuse me, I was a patient here back in the day and I was taken off when I was 12 years old. The last time I saw Dr. Madden, who's deceased now, has been for a while, was when I was 21 and I was thinking of having a baby. I was married, and that was the last of what I heard. There wasn't any kind of thing set up as far as I knew. And so I said, well, what about the children that you're taking care of now? They're going to grow up to adults. how are they going to get any, I mean, it's almost like they're thinking, oh, maybe there's a cure that's going to happen. Well, it hasn't happened yet, and I've been on this earth for 65 years. And there has been some, things going forward with Kuvan, which is helping classic PKUers being able to have more protein, because they can only have like 1, maybe 2 grams of protein a day, and that's really hard. I mean, 20 grams is hard enough, but 1 or 2, I mean, an egg is 6 grams of protein alone. And toast, normal toast, it's about 5-6 grams. So, and they only have 1 or 2 grams a day. That is really, really hard. And, people say, oh, a lot of people don't understand exactly what's involved, because it involves every part of your day, every moment. You're thinking about food, you're thinking about whether you have enough grams left in the day. And I'm sure, pretty sure a lot of times I've gone over, because it's very hard to measure when you don't have the means of measuring it. See, the blood test I did just before, that gets sent to the labs at the Royal Children's Hospital, and it probably takes about a week or so to get back to you, and then you get a call or a text or an email from your specialist. My specialist is Dr. Kate. Well, she's my dietitian, Dr. Kate Leffenbuer. My specialist is, there's a couple of specialists. Oh, what was her name? Anyway, I can't remember her name, but she's the specialist, head specialist, actually. So I was able to start back on diet on August 1, 2012. And the first week was going off milk, and then the first month, I think, going off milk, and then the next month was going off meat. Now, I'm not a big meat eater, or hadn't been, so a lot of my things were veggie based anyway. I would just have like veggies, meat and 3 veg, that was the thing. So started back on diet in 2012. I was working. No, I wasn't working. I was trying to get work. I was able to get some work as a cleaner. And as I got older, it got harder, and I changed jobs because I was not dealing with it very well. I was still getting panic attacks. I still do occasionally. It's not as bad as before, since I've had the escitalopram, which is an anti-anxiety, also antidepressant tablet. And now I go to the clinic once a year. I used to have to do full bloods. They said it's not necessary anymore, because I'm pretty steady at the moment. My fee at the moment is at 560 micrograms, and my tyrosine is 33 micrograms. It went down from last month, so last month in November, and I'm a bit sort of confused as to why, because I've been having my sphere every day. I have 4 a day. This is chocolate flavoured, as I said. So yes, the formula has improved, and they're learning every day. It's always a learning thing. It's like with a lot of rare diseases or disorders, and this is what's known as an orphan disorder, because not many people know about it, and it's also rare. 1 in 10,000 babies are born with it. And I happen to be the one in my family where I had 3 brothers, 2 older and 1 younger, and they weren't born with PKU, but I was. Some people would think, oh, because you're a girl. I said, no. It doesn't have any distinction between boys or girls. Both boys and girls get them. It's not like haemophilia, where boys generally get them. There are some rare occasions that girls can have haemophilia as well. But that being said, there's a lot more research being done. And now I have a support worker, Lenny. We get on really well. He helps me with my organisational skills because when I had the MRI through my neuropsychiatrist, I had 3 lesions in my brain. And I asked him out of curiosity, what area are the lesions affecting my brain? In what area? And he said it was my organisational skills. And I thought, well, that explains a lot of things, because I could never get myself organised properly. I was always running late for school, running late for work, running late for appointments. It's still a thing that I'm dealing with, that I'm working on. I know I have to have extra time to get myself ready. Like this morning, I started to have my shower at 8:30, and after washing my hair and drying my hair, it was 9:05. So that's about 35 minutes, a little over half an hour of doing that. Then, if I was working in the morning, like I used to be a school crossing supervisor, and I had to be there at 8:15, I think it was. So I usually try to get there at 8, so I had to get up really early, have my breakfast, and get my stuff ready. And quite often I could do that. Sometimes I would skip my breakfast. Oops, I spilled it. That's another thing, I can be clumsy sometimes as well. So there you have it. That's a quick sort of story about having PKU, and there are others who are older in other parts of the world, because it's all around the world. It's not just Australia, it's America and England and other parts. And look, I heard a story, I'm not sure if this is true, I heard a story that the PKU came from the time when there was the potato famine in Ireland. And that could be feasible, and I don't know if there's any other explanation. But yeah, and like I said, it needs as I'm saying now, it needs 2 parents with the faulty gene. So mum and dad did have that. Now, my brothers are carriers. Well, my last brother is a carrier. But again, 2 parents with the faulty gene or who's a carrier, and the baby could have PKU. So, and it's not a death sentence. It's not. It's devastating to the parents to find that out. But nowadays we have a lot of support now, which is really good. And we've got the PKU Awareness Day, which is the 1st of December, I believe. And the rare diseases awareness as well. Can't remember what month that was celebrated, but other side effect that happened with me was how the PKU had affected my teeth, because I didn't have the milk and the dairy growing up, so my teeth were forever getting decayed. I remember having my first filling, and that was not too pleasant, because the nurses drilled into my tongue and I screamed blue murder. Not very nice. So, but ever since I was that young, I had fillings, and every time I had to have fillings. I would go to the dentist and hope they wouldn't find another hole, but they did. I got to the point where no matter how much I cleaned my teeth, no matter how much I flossed, no matter how much I rinsed the mouth rinse or anything like this, the teeth kept on decaying because I lost a lot of the enamel for starters, and also just didn't have the structure that it needed to be strong. And I lost my teeth back in, I think it was 2009. I still had 9 teeth left on the bottom, so I had dentures done. And then back in 2018, which was about almost 10 years later, my bottom teeth, last surviving bottom teeth, the 7 that I had 9, and then it went down to 7 because again they were still getting decayed. They got to a point where there was no point in doing the fillings because 3 months after they fall out again. And it was all along my gums, and every tooth was affected. When they went to take them out, they came out very easily because they were so decayed. And all 7 were taken out in one hit. And then I had some new dentures done. And when I put them in, it was hard getting used to having bottom dentures like that because I had bottom ones that were like partials. They're connected to my bottom teeth. But these ones, like, I had about 2 sets. This is the second set with the full dentures. So I tried wearing the bottom dentures. I couldn't, and for a long time I didn't wear the bottom dentures. And of course, you get used to it, and then you realise, when you go to drink something, you dribble because there's nothing to do to hold the liquid back. So in the last few weeks, I have been wearing my bottom denture, which I have now, and they do look quite natural. Still trying to talk a bit better with them, getting used to it, getting better. I mean, the first time I kept on catching my tongue and my cheek and everything, but now that my gums have actually settled, because they kept on shrinking and I had to keep on getting them adjusted, I wear them for a few days, and then yesterday I gave my gums a rest, and now I've got them back on again, and it does make a difference, but eating is a lot slower, especially if you're dealing with things that you have to bite into, which can be hard. Anyway, so I'm going to finish my formula, and I have water because the formula dries my mouth, and so that's it for today.